How is social media affecting our mental health? By me, Mason. Social media has only been around for about 2 decades, yet it has increased in popularity and number of users so rapidly, it has become part of everyday life. And as this graph shown up above me, it is expected to reach 3 billion users in just 2 years, which means that it will be influencing about half of the population. Now, this led me to my research question, which is, in what ways is social media affecting people's mental health, and what can we do to prevent this? I drew inspiration from the stimulus packet, especially from Edward Kessler, who said, the initiation of social media is still therefore just over 5 years old. Still an infant, but we can be sure that the landscape will be different in another 5 years, and even more important. This shows how influential social media really is and how many people it really influences. So if there is a problem with it, we need to figure out what it is now and find a way to fix it before it grows too big to stop. Now, the reason this is important is because not only is social media in popularity rapidly increasing, but suicide and depression rates are also rapidly increasing. And some studies have shown that depression and depressive symptoms have been linked with social media usage. David Lexton, PhD, says, there is increasing evidence that the internet and social media can influence suicide-related behavior. Now, social media has that effect on people, and we don't want it to spread too far. There are 3 major parts of social media that cause depression and other mental illnesses, and the first of these is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is not new, it's been around in the internet forever, but social media creates the perfect area for cyberbullies to prey on people, because it allows them to do it anonymously and with little to no consequences. Cyberbullying has been connected with many suicides, and Helen Cowie, a psychiatrist, says, the upsurge of cyberbullying is a frequent cause of emotional disturbance in kids and young adults. The situation is complicated by the fact that the interpersonal safety issues are actually connected by the peer group. This means that even your friends can anonymously bully you, people who know about you, and that makes it hit so much closer to home. The second part about social media is the pressure that it forces on you to be perfect. Now, after an abnormal amount of college suicides in California, Stanford researchers coined the term duck syndrome, which refers to a duck appearing to glide effortlessly across the water, but underneath its paddles, they are frantically paddling to keep afloat. This relates to the social media accounts of the college kids who committed suicide. The social media accounts looked to be perfect and they contained no signs of depression or suicide, but underneath they were all struggling and they really needed help. Now, the big part about this is that it wants you to conform and hide any imperfections that you have, which means that through social media, people would have no idea that you're suffering, and your family and friends would not be able to help you because they would have no idea that you're suffering. The last part about social media that affects a lot of people is social media addiction. Social media is still a business, and they're designed to get as many users as possible. So they designed their apps to be addictive. And social media addiction is similar to a drug addiction because whenever you get a like or a comment, dopamine is released into the brain, and as your brain becomes more resistant to it, you need more and more of it, and you end up spending more time on social media. Also, people who are addicted to social media rely more on technology to communicate, and they don't communicate face-to-face as much anymore, which is unhealthy for your social skills and just your overall mental health as a whole. Now, the only viable solution that I found for this problem was to completely quit social media by deleting the apps or by using other apps like Off Time, Moment, Flipid, or countless others to stop yourself from using them. All the other solutions either costed too much money or would take too long and be ineffective. Some of the pros of the solution are that it is easy to implement and that it effectively stops social media use. Some of the cons are that it is only a short-term solution and that if there's not a parent there, it has to be self-administered. In conclusion, social media does cause a lot of people mental harm, and it's only going to increase as the users of social media increase. The best way that we can prevent this from happening to ourselves and others is to stop or reduce our use of social media and to spread information about how bad social media can actually be. Thank you.
Terrific. I got a couple of questions for you, Mason. When you started off in the whole process, what information did you need before you could really come up with your research question? And how did you go about finding that?
I really just needed to see how much of an impact social media actually had on people. So it was kind of hard because there were a lot of misinformation about like these stupid websites that had 5 reasons why social media is bad for you. So I had to dive in deep and find actual studies that were done on people to see if social media did affect them.
Terrific. And then as a follow-up, what additional questions emerged from your research? Like if you were to re-engage in this, how would you alter your research question based on what you've learned?
How I would alter my research question? I would alter it because I focused on a lot of things up here. I would definitely tone down the scope. I think I would have my research question more focused towards cyberbullying and internet addiction, because the perfection, it doesn't hurt that many people compared to the other two. So I would focus on a more specific area if I were to redo it.
Okay, terrific. Thanks, Mason.